Hello, Menno here, and today is going to be a fun video because today I'm going to show you that using M3 and level planes, no presets, we are going to employ the rule 5 controls 3, and we are going to mix an entire song with 50 or so tracks in absolute silence, and the result will be beautiful. Let's begin. Alright, so before we begin, let me just say that if you want to skip forward in the video or you want to rewatch a certain section of the video, you can do so in the chapters below. Also, head over to our website, go to our downloads page, and download the PDF file level planes. This talks about everything that we're going to be doing here today, so that moving forward, you can do this with any song in any genre. It does not matter. With M3, you don't actually need presets. You just need to understand that level planes exist, 3 and 5, and you need to employ the 5 controls 3 rule. And this will give you about 6 level planes, and you can do everything you need to do with that. It works so well that we are going to work today in silence. Okay? We are going to mix a song with 50 tracks, with reverbs and delays and tons of guitars, and we're not even going to listen to it. Okay? So, here we have a song. We have all of our drums. We have tons of guitars. We have some keyboards, our vocals, and all of our stereo buses. So all of these tracks, all right? And we have an M3 module on each one. And we just simply set those, every single M3 module to -25. We did not use any presets. We did set up our groups. So if you ever want to check your groups, boom, there's all the modules that are in that group. All right, so we did set up our groups, but other than that, everything is set at -25. -25 is your primary level plane, and then you will go down from there. Now, vocals will sit at -22 because you want them 3 above everything, so they sit on the mix. But for all of your other elements, noise elements, -25 is your primary level plane. Now, employing the 5 controls 3 rule gives us all of our other level planes. So we have our primary, secondary 1, secondary 2, transparent 1, transparent 2, and neutral. Now, what the 5 controls 3 rule, just to recap, if you want, you can go back to Universal Mixing Part 1 video and watch the chapter 5 level planes controls 3 dB. Okay, that will explain it a little bit more. But basically, if you have any 2 elements playing on the same LUF, so -25, -25, the increase is always 3. That 3 dB is controlled by 5 level planes, meaning if you take one of those -25 and turn it down 5 level planes, the increase in volume is 0. Okay, and then as you go up from there, then the volume kind of goes up to where you have 3. So that 3 dB is controlled by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 level planes. And by using that, employing those rules, you will mix all of your mixes in any genre beautifully. That's all you need. So we're starting with a faders up mix. That's what they call a faders up mix. Everything is the same LUFs. And we are going to turn our volume down because since everything is -25 LUFs, when we learn and mix, this is going to be very, very loud. And then we're going to make adjustments from there. So we're turning it down. And just for now, I'm going to lock our groups because they're going to be getting an onslaught of volume, and they don't need to they don't need to learn anything because then they would turn way down. It would just be ridiculous. But once we're done with all of our tracks and we've kind of set everything, then we will have our group tracks learn. All right. So let's go to the beginning here. I'm going to learn and mix the whole song. It's going to be -25, and then we'll pick up from there. Okay. We are done. I am going to back up a little bit so you can kind of hear. We'll turn this up just a smidge. All right, and we are going to mix. And there you go. Now all of our tracks have gone to -25. -25 LUFs. Of course, we locked our buses so they didn't move at all. Okay. Now it's still incredibly, it sounds better than it would have But that's not a mix, because your hi-hat should not be playing the same as your snare, your effects, everything's at minus 25, okay? I'm going to turn this down, and now we're going to make adjustments based on the 5 controls 3 rule, okay? So again, if you haven't, go back, pause the video, go to our website, download the PDF from our downloads page, the PDF that says level planes, and it talks about everything here, okay? All right, so let's start making adjustments based on the 5 controls 3 rule. So starting here, we have our kick. Our kick is minus 25. We have like a kick air. We're not going to listen to any of this. A kick air, and we want to using our level planes. So remember, with the 5 controls 3, you have primary, secondary 1, secondary 2. Those are where you can kind of hear things. So if you ever want to drop something back in the mix as an element, a main element, you would go to minus 30, secondary 1. When you want it to kind of still be a main element, sort of heard, but before it starts to get transparent, you use minus 35, secondary 2. But this is an effect. So at minus 40 LUFS, that's transparent 1, which is actually only about a 0.2 dB increase in volume. From when you're down minus 50, you're at 0 increase in volume. So at minus 40, it's only a 0.2 increase in volume. That's why that's transparent 1. And then at minus 45, that's only a 0.1 dB increase in volume. That's transparent 2. And then you have neutral. So this is a kick air. We want it to be at transparent 1. We're going to drop it down to minus 40. And we're going to mix that. Boop. Okay, now that is set. Now we come over here. Now our sub kick, we have the kick and the sub kick hitting together. Well, that's not, we want that to sort of be heard, but not really be its own element. It's an enhancement. So we are going to go from our primary level plane of minus 25. We're going to go to our secondary 2, which is 35. All right, so we're going to put this at minus 35. This is how easy this has always been. It's just that you've never used level planes before. Okay, so our sub kick's minus 35. Our snare, main element, primary level plane. The snare, the reverb for the snare, again, same thing. Transparent 1. We're going to go to minus 40. And you're going to see that you basically do this for everybody. It's not, there's not big differences. It's like there are just level planes. That's it. You have to kind of rethink sonic energy. It's actually very easy to deal with when you're dealing with universal rules, level planes. Okay, anyways, I digress. So again, snare bottom, this is to enhance the snare. So we don't want it as a transparent. We're going to use a secondary 2, minus 35. Okay, mix. All right, so we've already mixed this one. We mix this. Our hi-hat, again, we want that as an enhancement, because it's just really kind of a high-end energy, but we don't want it as a transparent, so it too will go to secondary 2, minus 35. All right. So tom, that's a primary. Tom, primary. Tom slap. Okay, that is an effect, so we want that at transparent 1 as well, minus 40. Okay, and let's keep going here. Overheads. Now, overheads, we want that. They are really sort of, kind of think of them as an effect as well. So we want them at minus 40, which is the transparent 1. But you can see that we have 2 of them. So remember the 5 controls 3, that 3 dB. So if you have 2 elements playing on the same LUFS, whatever that LUFS is, the increase is 3. So we want to drop those in order for the overheads, these 2 overheads together, to play at minus 40. We want to drop them both to minus 43. So minus 43, minus 43, the increase is 3, 40. So we will set this to minus 43. Mix, we will set this to minus 43. Mix, there you go. Now our room mic, he's also like an effect. Transparent 1, which is minus 40, we want him there. He's sort of that enhancement where we don't want an increase in volume, but we want to hear him, okay? Now our drum verbs, our drum pump, same sort of thing. There's only about 6 you're ever going to use. So minus 40, he's a transparent 1. All right. And this guy, he'll be minus 40. Boom. Okay, so that's set. Now here we have our bass. He's a primary, so primary minus 25, everything's fine. Now we have the bass, the micro bass, which is we put in like a micro pitch. So we have, there's like a chorusing effect to kind of widen and fatten up the bass a bit. Well, we want him to really be more of a transparent kind of, you'll sense it, you'll hear it, but it's really transparent. So we'll go to transparent 2, which is minus 45. Now, depending on the music, you might want him at minus 40, minus 45. I know that I just want a slight enhancement, so we want him at minus 45, all right? But it's entirely up to you in the song and how much. But you're just dealing with primary, secondary 1, secondary 2, transparent 1, transparent 2, neutral. And almost nothing will be sitting on neutral, okay? So there we go. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Probably help if I did minus 45, and there we go. All right, so our guitars, they're all of our main guitars here are minus 25. Here's a guitar verb for this one. Again, transparent 1. Transparent 1 will work great for everybody. Boop, there you go. All right, so here we go. Let's look at our track over here. Move the paper out of the way. So as we go down here to our guitars, okay, you can see that these guys are going to be, they're panned left and right. This one has a reverb on it. Then this guy plays by himself, so minus 25 primary. These guys are primary, 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 primary. Now here in this section, we have 2 primaries and then we have something in the center here. We have 3, and this guy is kind of like, well, he is a secondary. So he is the pre-chorus line. So we'll come over here. Where is the pre-chorus line? Right here. And we want that to go to minus 30, okay? So minus 30 and mix. Okay, so he has dropped down to minus 30. All right, so as we continue on, let's look over here. Oh, sorry, I forgot to move back over here. Sorry about that. So here he was, we dropped our chorus line back to from 25 down to minus 30, all right? Now, as we continue on and look on this side, here's where the chorus comes in. Now, the power guitar and power guitar, left and right, they are going to their own power bus. And so since they're going together and they're on their own bus, we just left them at minus 25, which you will see here. Okay, so power guitar, we can just leave them at minus 25. All right, now over here, our tremolo guitar, that is, I know that's like a background. That was an acoustic with heavy chorusing. He's supposed to be almost like a pad, but instead of using pad, we did that and heavy effects. So we want that to sit as an effect on secondary, transparent 1. So we will come here to the tremolo and we will put that at minus 40. Okay. Now I'm just showing you that this is possible. This is how efficient level planes are, mixing with level planes. We are doing this without even listening to it, and watch what the end result will be. Okay. So continuing on, let's go back over here. Okay, we have the chorus part low and the chorus part high. He is center, and then he's like this also the secondary sort of he's not a background part, but he is a secondary part. So we're going to turn our chorus part low down to our secondary 1, which is minus 30. Okay. Boop. There you go. Chorus part high. We'll leave him at the primary level plane. The chords, if you look over here, our chords play by themselves, so we'll leave them as right there on the primary. And we continue. Okay, now when we get over here to this section, we have this sort of JV picking. Now, this part was going, these were the primary up here, the clean and the power here. And this is kind of like an addition, right? This JV picking. But we want him as not as an effect, but as just a secondary part. So again, as a secondary part, minus 25 is our primary, minus 30 is our secondary one. We're going to drop JV picking down to minus 30. Okay, so he's secondary one. Boop, there you go. Now let's go back over here. Whoops, I forgot to move over. So here's our JV picking. We moved him from 25 back down to minus 30. I got to remember to switch screens here. My bad. All right, so as we continue on, there's a chorus again. Here we have the bridge part. Now in the bridge, this is the main guitar. We have sort of like this mandolin, and then we have a strum. Well, for the strum is going to be if I remember right, that's like a background part, but we want them sort of as an effect. So we want to go to transparent one. So let's go back over here to bridge strum, and we will drop that to minus 40, transparent one. So transparent 1 and transparent 2 are really going to be kind of like whenever something is, think of it in your mind as an effect, okay? And then your secondary 1 and secondary 2 are when something is actually a secondary part. Is it a up front secondary or a tucked back secondary? So up front would be minus 30, minus 35 is secondary 2, tucked back secondary, okay? So now as we're continuing on, let's go back here. We have our sort of our bridge funk, he's by himself, and the bridge solo, they're both going to be primary, and we have effects for them. So as we come here, all right, so we've done our strum, we've dropped our strum back. Excuse me. Oh, the bridge guitar pad. Well, yeah, we're going to leave him foreground, because if I remember right, he's kind of happening by himself as well. Yeah, he kind of he's a pad thing, but he's sort of on his own. So, but we'll come here to our bridge verb, and again, transparent 1, minus 40. And the solo part, which is the effect for this one, okay, he is going to go to transparent 1, which is minus 40. All right. You're just really dealing with about 6 of them, okay? Then we have our wah build and our glam out, okay? So we'll go back over here and look at what's what. So here is our build up, and then, but we've already set all these. We're going down as we're looking at it, right? And then here, these are just sort of additional guitar things that sort of enhance the main guitar that's happening. So this is primary, both at minus 25, and these are an enhancement, okay? So we want those to be we want them to sit at 30, all right? So since they're playing together, minus 33, together is going to be minus 30. So let's go back over here, and we will do minus 33 for those little guys right at the end, and minus 33. Okay, now we have our keyboard parts, and all of our keyboards, if you look over here, they don't really happen together. So he's by himself, and then when this guy comes in the organ, they're both basically supposed to be even. So we're leaving them all on their primary. Okay, now for our vocals, which we come in here. All right, so we are here. Here are the the synth and the rock organ. Here's our vocal. Remember, lead vocal leads a track always. Minus 22. Boom. Now the effect, the reverb for the lead vocal, it's still, you can shift. The 5-control-3 rule happens anywhere. So at minus 22, if you had minus 22, the increase is 3. So we want to go down to our secondary, our transparent 1 for the vocal reverb, but he's starting at 22. So 10 would be minus 42, minus 47, 32 and 37. So we've just shifted it. Instead of minus 40, we shift that up 3 as well, and we're going to minus 37. Okay? Excuse me. Now we have a vocal dirt in here, which is we just kind of wanted that to enhance. So we wanted to just sort of fatten up just a little bit. He is an effect. It's just a distortion of the lead vocal. So instead of transparent 1, we're going to drop him to transparent 2. He's only going to be doing a 0.1 dB increase in volume, but you'll sense him, you'll hear him, especially when he's gone. So we're going to move that down another from 37. We're going down 4 level planes, so he'll be minus 42. Okay, boom. Now, all of our background vocals, we're just going to leave them on their primary because all three, we want them to be equal power, and they're going to their own bus over here. Okay, so they're going to their own bus. We do know, and all of our buses, we want them all equal. So, except for the lead vocal. Well, actually, no, this is a rock song. So we want to drop we're going to learn, but I do know that in advance, we want our key bus to be as a secondary. So we're going to drop him to our secondary 1 to 30. So that's where we want him to learn. We're not going to do it because it hasn't learned them yet, really. And then we know that our lead vocal is going to be minus 22. Okay. So now we are going to unmute these, and we are going to learn our buses, because all of our buses are now getting the proper energy that we just set. All right, I'm going to go back to the song. I'm going to learn and mix. We're still silent because we don't need to listen. Okay, and be back at the end. Okay, now our song has stopped playing. Boop. Now I just learned. Now nothing else adjusted because it had already adjusted. So they just kind of learned and they just stayed where they were at. And you just saw all of our buses move. Okay, so they went from 0, okay, because that's where they all were, to, again, boop, right to where they need to be. All right. Now I will back up a little bit to kind of show you what how the buses made such a difference. I'll put these back to 0, and I'll play a little bit, just double clicking them. Okay, so turn this up. This is what the song sounded like before the buses. And we hit the buses. Nice. If we go back to the beginning, let's go all the way back. And all we have to do for this, if we want, while we're listening, is we can just learn the master. Set it to maybe like 2 just for now. I'll set it right about there for now. It's kind of hard to see, getting old eyes.
Oh, Mr. Hyde, ¿cuánto tiempo has vivido, andado y estado aquí? Oh, abre la puerta, Mr. Hyde, por favor, no.
Not bad.
Oh,
It's all in
abre la
silence.
puerta.
It's just level planes. You only need about 6. We'll wait for the chorus to come in, because the chorus will be nice and loud, so this will really learn. You know, ultimately, it'd be nice to play the whole thing through, but see, there we go. And as you're playing during this section, bump it up 5.5 half a dB. But there's your mix. You can do this with anything, and you know, people ask me, well, how about EDM? Like I mentioned again, noise does not care about genre. It is sonic energy. It doesn't. We think in terms of categories, but everything is just sonic energy. So this is how you work with everything. Now I am going to bring up another point here. Okay, let's. This is the biggest mistake that people make as you're venturing into this, the efficient way to work. This is the efficient way to work. Okay, everything before this was this whole how you used to work with finding these spaces and moving faders and all that, and just manually kind of searching for things. Okay, yeah, there was great. There were some people that were very good at it. They rose to the top. But this whole structure did not use universal rules or level planes, so the very foundation of it was inefficient. Now that you have tools that utilize universal rules and level planes, it is so efficient, you don't even have to listen to it, okay? But you can still make one very big mistake. Okay, so let me just solo the drums, and we'll go back here. Okay, let's go to our drum verb and pumping drum, which is a compression, and let's mute that. You hear the volume difference? That is the biggest mistake that you can make in this process. Okay, so let's just say that these were not there, and you had mixed your song, used level planes, and you hadn't done any parallel processing yet. And you were playing the song, you're like, hey, my drums are too quiet. And you go, what is your first instinct? Your first instinct is to turn them up. Do not turn them up, because the moment you turn them up, you leave the level planes. So level planes that's how the universe deals with sonic energy. Sonic energy, the universe created sonic energy, created all energy, okay? And it deals with sonic energy with universal rules and level planes. So the moment you turn it up, you leave that. You leave the perfection of level planes, and you venture back to that desert, that endless desert of level goes up, level goes down, level goes up, level goes down. Do not turn them up. What you do instead, the 5 controls 3 rule makes turning things up very easy. Parallel processing, okay? So when we've added, pumping drums and the reverb, it now enhanced. If you want a little bit more, like you really want the pumping drums to be heard, move up one more level plane. Drums are too quiet. Drums are louder. Do not turn things up. Do not leave level planes. Just simply utilize parallel processing. And when you put that restriction on yourself, because that's the old way of working. You're so used to just making adjustments, but then you're leaving level planes. But by restricting yourself to just working efficiently on level planes, it will force you to make better mixes, because you may not have used any parallel processing or very much parallel processing in the past. But now, in order to bring things out, you will use more parallel processing. If I wanted to bring out a guitar, do I turn it up? No. I will just simply, duplicate it to another track or send it to an aux track, either bring out the transients, compress it a bit, do whatever I need, add some distortion, and bring that up and set it on transparent 1 or transparent 2, and it will fatten it up. It will make it full. If it's transparent 1 or transparent 2, it's only going to add 0.1 or 0.2 dB of volume, but it's going to make it bigger. If I go to secondary 2, which actually then added 0.4 dB, almost a half a dB of volume, as we just did right here with the pumping drum, by moving it. We just kind of used the level plane buttons here, and instead of 40, we bumped them up to 35, okay, which is our secondary 2. It added almost half a dB, 0.4 dB of volume, and now all of a sudden the drums got bigger. We turned them up without turning them up, without leaving level planes. So we stayed efficient. We are using the universe itself to help us deal with the energy that it created, okay? So do not turn things up. So to recap, everything just sets on your primary level plane of minus 25. You've got your secondary 1, 30, secondary 2, minus 35, transparent 1, transparent 2, 40 and 45, and your neutral, which you will rarely use. and that's minus 50. But those are the only level planes you need, okay? So work efficiently. Do not turn things up. Restrict yourself. And remember that often in life, it is the restriction of oneself that leads directly to the expansion, the betterment of oneself. By restricting yourself and making sure you don't turn up and you're utilizing universal rules and level planes and working like this, you will make better mixes. It will force you to make better mixes. Freedom. All right. So Auto Demasker is the next plugin we're doing, which is going to be a beast. And we're in pre-sales now. And then after that comes CPOC Comp, which is, so what a compressor, tongue-tied. A compressor should be and could be and should be, in my opinion. Anyways, happy mixing. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Oh, Mr. High, ¿cuánto